How is my water ball? Are you still good? Fine. Alright, come on, finish packing away the fish. Excellent. So we have a little bit of room left, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got some tomatoes over here. I'm just gonna leave the cabbage there, honestly. Oh, our inventory's so full I cannot put my backpack in my other backpack. That's fine though. I'm using a one-handed weapon, it's alright. And back to Rosewood to start mopping up. I do not believe you can. I've had people mention it a couple times though, so I could be wrong with that, but I believe it is a one-to-one relationship. Oh. Hi, zombie right here. Yeah, if I'm wrong, I have no problem with admitting it. Like, I am under the impression it's one-to-one. Because most of the time I've gone to plumb a sink and all that, it's always ended up with 400 in it, even when I have other rain barrels nearby. And I don't get the plumb option a second time that I've seen. Okay, and on our way in, we did see a group of zombies. There's a good chance they might be standing out in the road, because they did hear us race past on our way in. That would have been not here. Alright, that's just scattered zombies everywhere. Wisbeak said, what I have heard is that if you run out of one of the barrels, it pulls from another, but I've never tested it. Yeah, I don't think that's the case, but I could be wrong. Like I said, that's one of those things I haven't, like, actually tested myself. Wouldn't be hard to test. You just be wasteful with water from one of the rain barrels. Dr. Bubble says, I shall launch an investigation. Excellent. Do the science. Record the results. Angel of the Blood says, I can confirm it doesn't, at least in my game. I saw another zombie over here. There's that one. But I thought I saw a zombie down here. That's fine, whatever. There it is. I was like, I was pretty sure I saw another zombie. And for the record, I did not do any burns. These just random chance houses in your world can be burned down. There'll be different houses each time. Just the same you can have random chance that a house will be all boarded up and be considered a survivor house. The events that happen inside the house, like you'll have some where it's like clearly a bachelor party or some that it's clearly like a birthday party, that kind of thing. Those are also randomized. You can even have like some Easter eggs, like they have oh, I'm blanking on his name. The Freddy Krueger. Was it Freddy Krueger? Hockey mask machete guy? Am I mixing this up? I feel like I'm mixing them up. Jason. That's right, Jason. Freddy Krueger's the guy's like all the pins in his face, isn't it? Or was that the one with the claw hit? No. Yeah. So you can have Jason, Hellraiser. Yeah, did I mention I don't really watch that many horror things? So, Claw Hand is Freddy Krueger. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so it took me 3 attempts to get it right, but I got there. But yeah, so there is Jason in the game, and you can find Jason, and he usually has a machete stuck in his back. And a hockey mask. This week says, Freddy has claws and a distinguished hat. Yeah, and everyone went through and they're like, none of the guy with pin, with pins in his face, none of that's Pinhead. The guy with the hockey mask, no, that's Jason. It's like Voorhees. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm probably ruining it. And that claw hand is Freddy Krueger with a burnt face and a striped shirt and a fedora. Yeah, so everyone in chat was like ready to get on the record to correct which one was which. Yeah, for the record, never been a huge person about horror. Like I said, I'm down for some psychological horror movies. Those I find interesting. Just plain old horror, not my jam. I do think the older horror movies are more interesting than a lot of the newer ones, where it's just like, how would you like more gore? Yeah, no, that's the only reason I know him as well. So Whistlebeak saying, never watched the movies, I just know them from culture and memes. Yeah, it's the same here, that I only got them from, like, people referencing them up. Dark Bubbles, didn't Freddy get beat up by some teenage kids? Oh, that's dumb. I'm allowing that. He's the monster. It's like, come on. Come on, Automod. And saying a shark? Come on. That one, Automod, you're getting overzealous there. And as a reminder, we do have no rules. Do not test Automod, because it always goes bad. Easiest way to find out the right answer is to say the wrong answer on the internet. You are correct. Yeah, Automod tagged you for being sassy. Thank you for the follow. Dynamic Volition. I'm sorry. Dynamic Volition, welcome to the stream. Totally Valcoon says, I hate watching horror movies. I like hearing about them, though. Yeah. Maybe Freddy Krueger is the gigantic shark off of Long Island Shore. Maybe he's the monster in the... Singorni? I don't know that. Weaver's Crew. Why does it sound familiar? I'm probably just mispronouncing it. Once I pronounce it correctly, I'll be like, oh, that thing. Unknowingly brought on board their spaceship. Oh, yes. Okay, now that you sense, yes, alien. Yes. Sorry. I haven't seen the name written out, so my brain is just like, what? Falcon says, seems legit. Artem Prime says, I hate watching horror movies because with the world we live in, it's just more of the same. Eek. The chick from Alien. Dr. Bubble says, I watch for the gore, but I stay for the gore. Yeah, like that's funny enough, that's the thing that I don't care for about horror movies. Is the old ones weren't too bad, but a lot of like the current ones, I shouldn't say the old, there's some of the old ones that are pretty rough. But like a lot of the current ones are like, no, we can do gorier. So like going just completely over the top with it. Like to me, those are the ones I'm the least interested in. And I get people are into that, cool. Have a blast. That's why they're made, is for, there is a target audience. For me, the kind of horror stuff I would like is more in the psychological horror. Where like, you don't have to have any gore whatsoever, but you're just sitting, like, you get to the end of the movie and you're just kind of sitting there in your chair just going, No. Why? No. I feel not okay. Like, to me, that's the kind of horror movie I'm actually interested in. There's not many of those. Or you'll have the one where it's like it does have the psychological horror, but then it also has the gore that's over the top. You're like, okay, but you're kind of getting over the like the amount of gore you're doing is kind of ruining the rest of the movie for me. Oh yeah, Burn and Sun said, yeah, the old horror movies, they didn't have really good special effects, so most of the stuff happened off screen. Yeah, absolutely, where you'd see like you'd see the victim like wander around the corner, you'd see, the guy with the hatchet just like, following behind him, and you hear, ah, and you'd see just the shadow or whatever. I used to be a gore guy back in the big wave in the 2000s where they just went nuts with like Hostel. I'm over it. Yeah. I feel like 90% of the time horror movie stories are far-fetched, idiotic, and breaks immersion. Absolutely. Dr. Wolf saying some of the old ones, acting and directing was so bad, they're kind of fun to watch. Yeah, and I've seen plenty of movies where you just go into the movie and you're like, oh, like this is a solid B, maybe even a C movie, but because of it, I'm actually having a pretty good time. That's kind of the joke when he brought up the Star Wars specials. It does that thing where it goes like, it's bad, it's so bad, it's good. No wait, no wait, no wait, we're coming back around to bad. Oh, it's just terrible. Versus the ones that's like, it's so bad. Oh look, I can see their zipper. Haha. Let's see. Psychological horror is the one I don't like at all. I got enough in my own head. And that's fair. And that's, we joke about the reason they make things of different genres so far as like music, movie. We all have different tastes. If they didn't, we'd all have just one thing. Angel of the Blood says, a mix of both used tastefully, like Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, there's definitely some that are good. Cabin in the Woods, best horror movie ever. I don't think I've seen it. I'm very familiar with hearing about it. The Real Arum Serenity. Did I miss a helicopter or something before I tuned in? There was a helicopter earlier. It's been a little while since we're not due for another helicopter for a good bit. Probably what, 4 or 5 days would be the earliest it could potentially show up. Dr. Bubbles says, I draw the lines at movies like Human Centipede and Tusk. Eek. I saw Human Centipede, and I can do without those memories. Totally Valcoon said, that one thing is cabbage. Yeah, and yes, and that one thing is cabbage. Yeah, like I saw a bunch of the ones, like the monster movies, like, yeah, monster movie kind of horrors, sometimes I can get behind. Like, I remember I enjoyed Alien when it came out, and I think it's more into horror, like not into horror, but more cool with horror when I was younger, until I saw a bunch of them, and I was just kind of like, alright. You get to points like, oh, everything's going silent. We're going to have the, like, whatever the loud, like, scream, or the loud yell, or we're gonna have, like, the violins, like, we've set up, oh, look, there it is. Like, it's one of those things, like, mentally, you kind of see the setup, and then way later, there's like, alright, well, we're gonna fake you out, and so it's almost every single thing was a fake out, and then to delay it for a second and do it, like, oh, come on. But yeah. I liked Alien, I liked Predator. To a certain extent, Jurassic Park would fall into that category as well. Like, it's not quite as monster movie-esque as, like, the old school ones. But, you do have these things going out, killing everybody, so it kind of is. What do you have, sir? Do you have another katana for me? Look at this group. We've got an axe, we've got a hunting knife, we've got a katana. I mean, if I still wanted a helmet, you'd have that. Like, this group, I mean, it's not your birthday, is it, Ellen? Like, you didn't, you gotta let me know these things. You gotta celebrate accordingly. My bags are full. I'll have to deal with this katana in a moment because my bags are full. Where'd they? There's the axe. Can I make room? That streamer loot. If only. Can I cash in that streamer loot? There's lots of games I would really like to get that streamer loot if you do not mind. I'm gonna put the hammer away. Because I put the hammer away. I can probably put this backpack in the other backpack. Oh, I know I can do salad. Let's just go ahead and add vegetables. Yeah, no, this streamer loot is because we have killed 63,000 zombies. It doesn't matter what your luck is when you've killed 63,000 zombies. You're going to get some good drops by sheer volume of drops that you've... Crap. I was actually hoping that would be enough to, get this over. Yeah. Let's see. I hate how Outline Zombie wasn't hit. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, you mean the one, the crawler? Because if it's the crawler's just BS. Ogo says, I'm the same way, even though I don't recognize Alien. I recognize that Alien is a better film. I'd still rather watch Aliens. I'm sorry, I'm misreading it. Oh. I'm probably forgetting that there's multiple movies in that. Mostly happens with crawlers. I don't use the outline for that reason. Interesting. Has anyone hit 2+ years and lived in this game? Oh yeah, Dr. Bubbles. Yeah, there's Mr. Lamprey, I believe, is one who has done some absolutely absurdly long runs before. I'm trying to remember. There was someone who had like, I wish I could remember the stream. Like it's not someone I've tuned into yet before, but I have heard that there was someone who was like working on something like 20 years or something like that. Zypot says, I'm with you, Aliens is more fun, but the Alien director's cut is terrible. Elgosa says, I agree entirely, actually. I personally loved the action-y version of Alien, and yes, so there's Alien, Aliens, and the rest, Resurrection. Yeah, that's the thing. I sat there for and was like, oh right, there was one where it's plural. Like, there's the first one where it's just an alien on the ship, and then there's one where there's a bunch of aliens. Elgo, so Alien the first, the sci-fi movie horror, Aliens the second is the one with the best summer blockbuster action films of all time. Is one of. I read it as was one of. Either way. So the problem I'm running into that I want to find a solution. There, that's the solution. Right there's that's oh wait, never mind. I have 20 hunting knives on us. Let's deal with this problem. Because the problem I was running into is I couldn't fit my bag in my other bag. So I'd have to just have it in my inventory, be a weight issue. So I couldn't break out the katana because the katana's two-handed and I'm not using a katana one-handed because that feels like a waste. There, much better. Let's see. Pigrick says, The Thing, The Blob, 30 Days of Night, Lost Boys, From Dusk to Dawn. Adrian Prime says, The Lost Boys. Alrich Miraborg says, Evening, folks. Adrian Prime saying, Vampire Horror is like glam horror. I love Interview with Vampire 2. Hey, Kaiser, how's it going? The katana is just a stretched machete. The katana, if I'm not mistaken, has lower durability than a machete, so ultimately, if I'm not mistaken, the katana performs better when you're at like low long blade skill, but there's actually a point when you get enough long blade maintenance that the machete kind of starts to outperform it, just by the fact that the machete doesn't break as fast. Wispig saying, The Interview with a Vampire was a pretty good movie. Moriarty says, Glampires. Figurus says, 30 Days of Night make vampires actually like monsters. Nothing glamorous about that movie. Oh yeah. Like, I am never upset about getting a katana. It is just one of those things that the long blade gets kind of weird in the sense that at a certain point, one long blade is better than the other, and then at a later point, you can arguably say, like basically, which long blade is better kind of depends on where you're at in the game. Alrich says, as a 30-year volunteer with the National Weather Service in Skyward, I gotta tell you, a lot of those storm spotters made drinking game out of Twister. Oh yeah, I've heard all sorts of silly stuff that, you know, on one hand, because like when you look at what goes into like Twister and all that, and they tried to have it so it's something realistic, but there's just so many things. It's like, but you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. I have always been curious, like, so you know, the whole thing with Twister is they have like these little probes that they're trying to get into, you know, ridiculously powerful tornadoes to, you know, do the science, like get the information that we don't have because it's just no one has gotten readings from all over inside the tornado. So it's like, okay, that part, like, that is a totally believable thing. All right, Dying Brainstem, you sleep well. Like, that's a totally believable thing because, like, yeah, we do that kind of stuff where we're like, all right, we want as much scientific instruments to monitor this thing to learn from it. But then you see them, like, just speeding these trucks right down as fast as they can, trying to catch up to a tornado and, like, pull their truck in front of the tornado so that the tornado, like, pulls over. It's just like, no. Is Shaun of the Dead the best horror comedy? I am a big fan of Shaun of the Dead. Kaiser? Ooh, I think I'd like Shaun of the Dead more than Zombieland. Zombieland is pretty good, though. I think it would take Shaun of the Dead over. Especially, like, the scene where they're taking out the records, trying to, like, decapitate the zombie, like, throwing them, like, frisbees at it. But yeah. It does, like... It does make me curious with the real-life equivalent X, you know... I am doing well, Rainbow Octavian. It does make me curious when it comes to, the real-life Twister investigations where they're trying to get sensors and all that to do readings, because, you know, that had to happen in some way. Like, how they approach that, like, in real life. My assumption is they would go to places that were very, very high activity for tornadoes, so, like, what do they call it? Tornado Isle or Tornado Alley. So that's Midwest US, but like go in that area. And my assumption is they just have areas that get hit often, and they would just put the probes there. Yep, I'm willing to bet now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, they've definitely got to have that out there, like information, because that'd be interesting stuff. Because that's the kind of stuff you get kids excited about science. You'd be like, yeah, you know, there's these terrifying things called tornadoes, and there's so much we don't know about them that we want to know about them, and, you know, we have ways we can figure it out. We just need to, you know, do it, and here's how we did it and all that. Oh yeah, nowadays the tech where you can have these hardened stuff where, like, that was the, that's kind of one of the big things that came up was with the hurricanes, that, you know, you did have way above everything. Like, you'd have helicopters and planes flying way above the hurricane, like, looking down at it, giving readings and all that. And then you hear about them coming up with these new planes that they're like, yeah, where does this plane go? Well, we just kind of fly into the hurricane. You're just kind of like, what? Like, you're saying, like, 130 plus mile per hour winds, and you're just fly into it? How's that experience for a bumpy flight? You know, those are very specialty planes. Oh yeah, could you imagine being the first pilot, like the test pilot in, you know, the plane designed to go into a hurricane and just like, all right, you know, everything works on paper. We've done our simulations and it should hold up. You know, we put it in the wind tunnel and all that, so all the science looks good. But, you know, we haven't done it yet. So, here's the keys. We just need you to hop on in. There's a Cat 3 over there. If you don't mind, we would like you to fly over there and go on into it. Oh yeah, you gotta be in a certain head, like a certain kind of person to be a test pilot. Because like, don't get me wrong, all the engineering and the math and all that will be sound. Like all the information we have will be solid. But there's always certain variables you can't account for, and you don't find those variables out until you actually test it. And then you go, well, that failed. Let's grab the black box and start looking through this and figure out what variable we missed. Let's see. Weather Channel, Alric says Weather Channel has some documentaries of hurricane hunters that punch the eye of wall of hurricanes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is those like planes that do that and just going. Figuric says probably the craziest pilot you can find. Yep. Rainbow Octavian says math being right doesn't make it not crazy choice. Agreed. Even if everything works perfectly, like human error is always part of it and all that. And again, we don't know the experience until you try it, you know. And it should be safe. But there are many times that we've gone, all right, we did this rocket launch and everything should have worked. It exploded. Now we get to look through the pieces and try and, you know, go through all the film footage and figure out what happened and why. You know, and then in the future, whatever happened, you learn your lesson and you correct for it and it doesn't happen again. But there is always some level of variable you can't always predict. Alric says they quickly found jets don't work well. All planes are prop planes. Interesting. I'm guessing there's some it's gotta be something with the way the jet engines work. Let's see. Crazy like the independent day guy who flew into the aliens. Yep. Deonchek says we have been making parachutes for ages, but all those things still fail from time to time, and that is needed to live thing. Yeah. A lot of that usually comes with like packing and all that stuff or poor manufacturing, but yeah, it's still same deal. Cyber Angel says after Rock Up Blue, so the rest of you guys use metric, right? So that was there was what was it? I think it was one of the earlier Mars